In our next video we're going to be looking at how we can make use of something called $server variables within our PHP to make life easier for ourselves. So far we've sorted out things so that everything goes in its own place. We have a couple of templates, templates.html, defining the semantic structure of our web pages. We have a file webpage.css defining the look and feel of our website. We have a template.php, which is actually a pro forma for the content pages, just to show us what the top and bottom needs to be to tie everything together. And we have a file that we looked at last time, webpage.ini, which allows us easy access to repeated content on each page. In particular, it makes updating the menu very easy. But we still have that pesky title text in our head section of our page. We have to specify what the title is on each page, which is a little bit clumsy. It feels a bit like doing the same thing twice. We have to give the page a name, and then we have to give that name within the title in some way or other. And we also haven't highlighted the current page in our menu display on our browser. So it would be good to do both of those. Can we do it easily? Well, yes, this is where the $server variable comes in. So in PHP we have access to a number of variables that the server keeps a track of while it's dealing with a page request. You can look at what's possible within $server by looking it up on PHPman, but basically the one that we're interested in today is the $server variable PHPSelf. That tells you which page you're currently processing. $server in those speech marks PHPSelf returns the full path of the current page. What we need to know is just the URL of our particular page. So what we're going to need to do is do a little bit of string manipulation to chop off everything up to and including the final slash in our URL. And we can do it with a single line thing, but it's using two PHP functions together. So you can see this line here, $thispage is equal to substr, which is substring, and it's going to do a substring on strr, which is string right character. So what the string right character is going to do is it's going to look for the rightmost character, which in this case, if you look along the line there, says slash, and give the slash and everything from there onwards up to the end of the line. That's slash index.php or whatever. That's nearly right, but we don't want that leading slash. So the substr, you can see it has all of that lot, comma 1 in the substr bit of that line. That's going to ignore the first character and give us the rest. So we've finally got down to just index.php or about.php or whatever it might be that we require to know what our current page is that we're processing. It's now an easy task to choose an active tab for our current page. We had the line in our code that said for each this menu as $name pointing to $page. That was cycling through the data from our webpage.ini. Then we added to our menu each line, so $menu equals $menu as it was, plus a href $page the URL, and then the label $name inside the a tags. That's what we had. Now that now becomes the same starting line. We're still going to keep going through our list of menu entries. So for each this menu as $name pointing to $page. But before we start, we actually do a little check and say if the current page we're looking at in this trawl through the menu is equal to this page that we looked at on the previous slide, then that means we're currently processing the entry in the menu that is the page that is current. So let's do two things. We'll set this title, so the title of this page, as in between the title tabs in our head section. That's going to be $name. And in our menu, we add the line to our menu with ahref and so on, with $name for the page that we're processing. But notice here, besides the URL in the ahref bit, we've also added class equals selected. We've had to escape all the all the quote marks, as we have been thinking in our labs recently. They all need to be escaped, otherwise they will mess up our PHP. That's if we are currently processing the page that we're on. If the menu entry is not a page that we're currently on, then we just do as we did before, $menu equals $menu as it was, with the line added, ahref equals $page is the href, and then $name is the label that goes into the menu. That should do all of that nicely. We now find that we've not only flagged the active menu tab by doing that, we've also automatically set the title text in the process. So that will now mean that we don't have to set the title text in each and every content PHP page. We can do that automatically. That sounds like good news. It sounds like one less area where we feel like we're doing things twice, even if we're not quite. And it will certainly cut down our work, and it will also reduce the possibility of making errors by doing one thing in one place and something different in a different place. So if we now look at our content pages, they now look like this. So they're more or less as they were before. So we require our web page class and we create a new template. But notice now when we create our $template equals new web page there, we now don't need to specify what's going to go in the title bit in our head section. That's now done automatically for us. One less thing that we have to update as we update our pages, and one less thing to go wrong with. That sounds good to me. So then the next line renders the initial page HTML as before, and the rest of the page is as it was before. So that means job done. Now you can see the result in step 6 in our example sites, and it does make for a really easily maintained website. So we have the HTML semantic structure in the template.htmls, we have the style in the CSS, we have the important template content in the ini file, and we have the page content in the page.php files. So now we need to ask ourselves, is that it? Have we done it all? Can we now take a break? The answer is, well, what we have now will work fine in modern browsers, but first of all it won't work in legacy browsers, nor will it work in Internet Explorer. It's not too good on mobile devices either. Now that sounds like a lot of problems, but actually we can fix all of it fairly easily, which we'll look at next time.